Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to start the last Dhamma discussion of this Kalalgoda August retreat. So we have received several questions. We'll start with the written questions.
Avasarai Bhante, we have received 4 reports today. Report number 1, Venerable Bhante, walking meditation. After few minutes, I can keep focus on feet continuously. With time, mind gets more focused on the hardness of legs. My legs feel like hard sticks. I can see start of the hardness.
Legs feels like?
Hard sticks.
Uh-huh.
I can see start of the hardness. It changes and at the end the hardness fading away. With time, I can feel the sensation very lightly but not as gross as at the beginning.
Yeah, that's maybe correct. Because it may happen, because you know that as we continue again and again, so there is what we call Kaya Passaddi, Chitta Passaddi going to arise. So whatever gross sensations, whatever gross feelings, aches, pains, getting reduced, and you feel like you are floating, there is no huge pain or any gross sensations, some subtle light sensations are there. And mind also maintains a quiet and lighter type of experience. So this is all right. I mean, you don't need to expect same intensity throughout the session. Rather, the intensity can vary. At the beginning, you might feel a fair amount of intensity of your sensations, and as you continue, that intensity may reduce, and you might even reach where, as we discussed, you can't recognize what it is. Whether it is hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness, you can't recognize. Things are there, some sort of sensations are there, but you can't name them, but you can't label them. Mere sensations are there, and they also appear like certain distant. It's all right.
Sitting meditation, I observe the body as a third party. I can see the body on the wide space. First, I focus on the elements. After it fades away, I focus on the feelings. After this ends, sometimes thoughts or signs appear. In the end, still I can see the touch of my buttocks, but I can stay without any attachment. It's like staying without doing anything. Please give me your guidance, Bhante. Thero and Saranai.
Same thing. Same thing what you have experienced in walking, now you are experiencing in sitting. So this is sometimes we call as later. You can call it as what we call the choiceless awareness, where different sensations are there. Sights are there, sounds are there, smells are there, tastes are there, touch sensations are also there. Minor thoughts are also there. But your mind is not interested of any of those. Mind can remain calm, fairly quiet, without getting involved. But still you feel it. A fair amount of feeling is there, but they are not interrupting the mind. Mind can maintain some sort of a privacy in a way, some sort of a seclusion. So let it happen more and more. So don't push your mind to the object now. So start from the beginning, it's all right. As a beginner, you start paying attention to maybe breathing or another sensation, doesn't fine. But as you continue, that sensation become finer, refined, subtle, and mind withdraws from that process, and mind starts remain calm, quiet, not interested of any of these processes. Let it be. Just continue the practice as it is. And then further and further mind withdraws from this process and mind become more and more secluded, preferring some sort of a seclusion and not interested of any of these. Is it yours? Okay. So anything you like to contribute? Yeah.
So my mind not like they stay that situation, not interested that.
Not interested of these things.
Sometimes I'm stop that meditation. Yeah.
That's the point. So you have to continue. Even though mind is not much interested of all this, just continue. Just keep the mind in a floating state. Because mind doesn't have any of these. Even though sensations are there as you walk, but you don't need to push your mind to look at them now. You already were doing that, but now it's withdrawn from that. Things are there, but keep the mind in a floating stage.
Can I look at that? That when I thinking I'm stop this one, can I look at that thought?
Thought, that's fine, definitely. Now, actually, once the mind withdraw from this physical sensation, you can simply look at the mind, no harm. So they also allow things to come and go, thoughts to come and go, and assume that there are no thoughts. Just be. Yeah.
Report number 2. Most respected Bhante, I pay my deep gratitude for all your valuable advices and request permission to share few experiences, please. There are 3 parts. Part number 1. Yesterday evening, when listening to Dhamma sermon, I experienced empty body and I was able to maintain it when doing the Gatha chanting too. However, these experiences are very much challenging after leaving the retreat. Bhante, could you please explain more strategies to enhance my mindfulness levels?
Challenging. Challenging in the sense?
After leaving the retreat.
Yeah. But what's the challenge? Is it yours? Yeah. You mean at the family, at the house to maintain it? Or disturbances are there? What's the challenge?
Bhante, when doing the morning meditations, can sometimes easily can identify emptiness, but during the daytime it's very difficult. That's why I say
daytime.
Yeah,
it's okay because it has to spread naturally. We can't forcefully ask it to spread.
Last time also after coming to this retreat, few days I experienced emptiness properly. After that again no, and again like this.
That's the way it is. Because whatever the other disturbances coming from the office or other people start slowly occupying the mind, and you lose the emptiness. Again you have to build it. Again let it pervade, let it establish, let it become more stable. So then only it may start propagating like and existing for a fair amount of time. So that's the way it is. But the point is, now the moment that it's been disturbed, you can look at how it is being disturbed. There may be thoughts, there may be judgments. You are expecting things to happen in a certain way, but they are not happening like that. So our prejudices are there. So likewise, many reasons are there. So more we understand them and keep them aside, so slowly we are able to maintain that clarity of the mind for a fair amount of time. So we actually slowly get involved. So we are unable to maintain that uninvolved mind. Maybe sometimes it is necessary to get involved. Say there is a problem at your home or at your office or something, and then you may have to pay attention. You have to get involved. You have to participate. You have to contribute. Many things are there. Now the issue is, after such contribution, after such participation, how quickly I can withdraw from all that and come back to the emptiness. So that resilience is something that we have to grow. It will happen with time. And that's why, particularly Buddha mentioned now, to test our capacity or test our ability, so we have to go through such ups and downs. It will happen naturally also, because we don't need to invite situations. Rather, as we are continuing, the situations may naturally happen, naturally arise. While going through them, we are in a way testifying, or we are in a way assessing where we are, or whether my practice is stable, can withstand in all these ups and downs. So that is the maturing. So let it happen slowly. We can't make it hurriedly, quickly, stable. Things will take some time. Yeah.
Item number 2. Today, early morning, I did a few walking meditation in 2 different places and enjoyed a peaceful mind at the end of the walking path by closing my eyes and waiting for some time. One occasion, I felt that I am getting good vibrations from the outside environment, and I observed it without any judgment. I got this experience previously too. I am wondering whether it is an imagination or real feeling. How should I be mindful to this event, please?
It's okay. Basically, sometimes people are talking as we dwelling in emptiness. It is not that you feel lonely, rather you feel connected. You feel connected with everything. It is not a kind of a narrowed mind, rather it's an expanded mind. So the expanded mind can comprehend the whole universe like, so you are well connected. So therefore it's something very difficult to logically explain, but it is there. You feel alone, by the way. You are not connected with any object as such. You are not interrupting, you are not attached, any of those. But at the same time, you don't feel lonely, but you are well connected with the whole universe. You are part of it. Something like that. So therefore, no harm. You can simply enjoy it. Because that's why I think yesterday also, I encourage. So this living a life free from thinking, free from proliferation, with a empty mind, with a clear mind, is a blessing. So that we need to encourage and that we need to enjoy in a way. But difficult, because thoughts are coming, disturbances are coming, and memories are coming, our judgments are operating, defilements are there. So they are always coming and disturbing this process. But more and more we are clear them, so then more and more we are maintaining the peace. A fair amount of peace in the mind. So that peace of the mind in a way helps to rejuvenate ourselves, to relax everything, no stress, no tension, no judgments, no eye-making, no mind-making. That's why, now there are suttas like, say, for example, Chabbisodana Sutta. That's a very interesting sutta where Buddha explains about how one has become an arahant. So the path, many arahants have explained, is something like this. So we have to align with that path. So we are not arahants, but we have to at least align with that path. Then only we can ultimately someday it will happen. So the path how they are explaining is where ditta sutta mutta viññāta besu dhammesu. That means when we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and thoughts are coming, so you are maintaining that uninvolved type of state. There is no attachment, there is no distraction. And you are kind of evenness of the mind. You are not hating any situation, you are not attracted to a situation, but maintaining that evenness of the mind. And again, it is not a narrow mind. So typically the narrow focused mind is something that we need at the beginning. That's what we call as the concentrated mind. Say, for example, you want to look at a particular phenomena precisely, so you need a very focused attention, concentration. But as we continue the path, when we are particularly coming to this unattached state, then mind is not particularly focused onto one thing, rather it is kind of a pervaded awareness. It's an open awareness. So it has no boundary. Vimariyādikatena cetasa. Sometimes Buddha explain it as Vimariyādikatena cetasa. I am living with a boundless mind. So Buddha's mind is a boundless mind. It is not it is not some sort of a focused or restricted, constrained, narrowed mind. Rather, his mind is completely open, pervaded kind of awareness. Vimariyādikatena cetasa viharāmi. So these terms are fairly telling with what we are doing. So that's why more and more, that's why sometimes I like to refer the sources. These early Buddhist teachings are really concrete examples to testify whether what we do is correct. We always have to refer to them. We always have to verify them. We have to see them whether what we do is aligned with what Buddha has mentioned. So enough sources are there. What we are going through, what we are experiencing, or what we are practicing is in line with the Buddha's teaching. So therefore, just a matter of continuing, let things happen. So we'll see. Yeah.
Third part, another occasion at the end of the walking path, while the eyes are closed, I experienced a very clear mind and I was able to spread it to far away without any boundaries. When listening to today morning Bhante's Dhamma sermon, especially on Appattita Viññāna, I got some curiosity to know more about it. Bante, could you please explain more about this, please? Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, so those terms like apatittita viññāna, anidassana viññāna, anupadāna, say anissita, suññata, animitta, all are very much like talking of the same thing, but looking at from different angles. Say animitta, no sign. Then appanihita, there is no desire, there is no aim, like, I want to do this, there is no type of intention. So mind is fairly satisfied in the present moment, contented, no desire. Then suññata is empty, no self. There is no any essence, there is no any soul or any person. So the suññata particularly means, Buddha give a definition, suññamidang attenava attaniyenava, where it is empty of a self and what belongs to a self. So while we are there, you can't feel much of a self. You can't feel something belong to me. You are simply there. So the more if you start analyzing and doubtful about it, then again we lose the state. So that's why sometimes we simply have to enjoy it, simply dwell there in a very simple, innocent way. And say apatittita. So you can't find a place where the mind is positioned or where the mind is located. So what is the type of object on which that you are standing on? Say for example, say you are looking at something and your mind slowly get attached to it, and now you are looking at it closely, recognizing this and that, and you get attached. Now very much like your mind is well established there. But at this state, there is no such thing. You might see, hear, smell, taste, touch, all that, but mind not want to get involved. Mind maintain its seclusion, kind of its independence, its freedom. So apatittita. And then the anidassana is where nothing is represented in the mind, or no drawings in the mind, or no artwork in the mind. Typically our minds are, going through a lot of artwork. We are good artists. We draw various pictures again and again. Say a little picture appear and we are drawing more things, another thing. Many fabrications are there. A lot of fictions are there. So we are very good in that. So on this situation, your mind can't do that. Your mind remain calm, quiet, without fabrication, without proliferation, without any kind of makings, preparations. All that has to be completely calm, relaxed. So many different angles actually Buddha explained this experience. So that is the capacity of the Buddha in a way. You can see, the same thing. What a beautiful aspects that Buddha is introducing. Okay, you can look at from this angle, then you feel that. That's also true. You can look at from another angle, you can interpret like this. That's also true. So likewise, the same state, but very beautifully Buddha explained from many different angles. Yeah. She has a question. Yeah.
Avasarai Bante, I can identify very clear mind separately staying there.
Very clear mind?
Separately there. And when everything after closing the eyes, then I can see that the mind can spread to long way.
Fine. That's okay.
Yeah, that is when doing the walking meditation, and at the end of the walking path, I'm close my eyes and see that one. Sometimes, very rarely, I observe that during the sitting meditation also. Now, when I am starting my sitting meditation, I am just keeping my mind openly.
Right.
Is it okay?
Sure, definitely. That's why now the object is not necessary. Once we have immersed to the objectless environment, just encourage that. Now sometimes the problem is now, say for example, now when I am giving a guided sitting, so I ask people to go for the breath and go to a body scan, pay attention to this and that. That is because that's a traditional way, because everybody is not here now. They need some sort of a guidance. They need some sort of a location to establish their mindfulness. That's why establishment of mindfulness. But here, the mind is, we have to promote the unestablished state. So mind is not established at all. So now what I do is, I go through this state, the guidance, and ultimately I say, okay, if you have the capacity, now let it free. Keep it unestablished. So if people are capable, you don't need to follow my instruction. Simply from the beginning, keep it unestablished. No harm.
Sometimes I feel when closing the eyes, everything is blank.
Yeah.
Can start from that place.
Sure, no problem. So you start from the mind directly and keep the mind like open, pervaded, clear, no objects. It's kind of transparent like mind. So mind is very transparent. I often like to give an example using your spectacles. Say if your spectacle has certain stains, so you see what is outside through the stain. So if it is a colored stain, then you look at thing and it is being colored now. But now say you completely clean it. If it is a perfect kind of a spectacle, you can't know the spectacle is there. Assume that we make a spectacle completely, weightless. You can't feel the weight. And there is no stains at all. It's completely stainless. Then what you see is the correct thing, and there is no anything coming through your spectacle. So its spectacle is merely a transparent glass. How about our mind? So if our mind can be like that, excellent. Where there are no influences coming from our side. We simply observe, we simply experience things, they come and go. Mind doesn't want to get involved, mind is simply navigating. Something like that. There is no any impediments or any influences, stains, signs, prejudices, nothing is coming from our side. So these are the areas actually we need to learn. So always, even yesterday or day before what we explained, now our sensual experience being fairly colored, conditioned by our own prejudgments, our prejudices, our judgments. So then we are not experiencing the reality, isn't it? So the more we stop that, keep the mind very clean, without any of those, then the things are happening as smoothly as possible, and there is no person either. Things are there, but there is no experiencer. So this is the direction that we have to move forward. So that's why more we live like this, the defilements can't find the strength. Defilements are not fed. They are not strengthened, so slowly they have to discard, slowly they have to be weakened. So one day assume that we all come to a state where mind become completely boundless, continuously, no defilements, no sense of I. Then one can say, okay, one has attained arahantship.
That mind can see separately, no?
Sorry, mind can see separately.
Separately. That the glass.
No, I think, I don't know. We have to become an arahant and say.
No. I am not asking arahant. Now, based on my experience, I am asking.
Yeah.
That
the moment, by the way, the moment that I step back and want to check it, then a little sense of I might be generated. That's why sometimes we don't want to over-emphasize this kind of reflection. Yeah, you want to check, am I doing it correctly? Then a sense of I can happen. But while you are there in a real purest form, you might not have that necessity either. Because with respect to the arahants, it is mentioned that the desire to search, desire to investigate is also has abandoned. It is called esana. Now, typically to ourselves, kamesana, bhavesana, Brahmacharya asana. So likewise, different, as far as I can, three asanas are there. Asana means that you do pariyasana. Asana has some similarity. You like to investigate. You want to explore what is happening there. Pariyasana tanha. So, and we are searching for that. That is necessary, by the way. Otherwise, we simply stagnate. So we are going to our path based on that inquiring. That is necessary. Assume that one become free from kamesana. Now he is not searching for sensual gratification. Kamesana is abandoned. Bhavesana, you have, once it is abandoned, so you are completely contented here and now. You don't want to look forward for a futuristic kind of an event. Rather, you are utterly satisfied here. Bhavesana abandoned. What is the Brahmacharya asana? So Brahmacharya asana is what we all are now have. So we want to become enlightened, we want to become Sotapanna, we want to become an Arahant. So that is actually the Brahmacharya asana. So we are trying to live a spiritual life and to achieve something, to enlighten, to understand, all that. Say, when one becomes an Arahant, that is also subsided. That's also gone. It's satisfied. Brahmacharya asana patipassaddha. Rather than Buddha say abandoned, he says patipassaddha. It is now been saturated. It's done. Now he don't want to do more anything. That's why katakaraniyo, what it needs to be done, he has completed. No more things to do. He has done. Think about such a situation. Now, when things are done, you have nothing more to do, utterly satisfied. Now, why do I want to check? I'm done. Something like that.
Yeah, in my case, after seeing that clean mind, I am thinking to spread it.
Spread it. It's no harm, because that is also there. Now, it is actually we do that in Samatha meditation particularly. Now, say one is practicing Kasina meditation. Now, in the Kasina, natural spreading might not happen at the beginning. So you have to purposely do that spreading. Purposely spreading. You are pervading the mind purposely. Here also doing it is not a harmful thing, but you may have to do it without generating any tension to the mind. So without much effort, if it is slowly, gradually, you are doing it very softly, gently, then no harm. But if you want to push it too hard, then it might disturb the mind. So let it happen slowly, spread it. Naturally spread it. And let that spreaded state be there. And it will naturally happen.
Much merit,
yeah.
Report number 3, Most Venerable Bhante. Although we as Buddhists believe in Anatma, within brackets non-self, as individuals we try to attain Nibbana by ourselves. If there is no self, I always have a doubt as to who is trying to attain Nibbana. Also, if there is no self, why do we have to worry about what will happen to us in our next birth? I would be grateful if you could explain or clarify this to an extent possible. Much merit to you, Bhante. Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, interesting question. So actually this can be answered at the end of the series of sermons that we are delivering these days, that Punnama Sutta. So while Buddha was discussing that sutta, one monk has that same thought. If there is no self, then why bother? But the problem is that Buddha is telling there is no self, but for me there is a self. So I am still ignorant, I have a lot of craving, so my way of operation always confirms the self. Now because Buddha is saying there is no self, I am simply convinced about it, but that is only a superficial convincing. Whenever you do some activity, whenever you react to some occasion, you are making a self. You can't stop it. Even though you have heard there is no self, it is not enough. I mean, hearing that might be enough if you become, say a Sotapanna by going through it and say the whole Sakkaya Ditthi is broken. to some extent that self-view is abandoned. But one has to be an arahant to completely abandon that. So even a sakadagami, sotapanna, anagami, still they have the sense of I. So when they do some activity, there may be a little irritation or any kind of intentional activity. So that's why they may have another birth. Sotapanna, at least the maximum 7 births. So if there is no self, who is going to be born? So because still we have certain amount of ignorance, certain amount of avidya and the craving, tanha, so that generates some sort of a momentum to carry forward, to continue the existence. So only the arahants can completely abandon the whole burden. So he may not be reborn, but we not being the arahants, still even though we talk, we discuss, we learn, we understand there is no self, but till that understanding become very concrete, very solid, very apparent, it's as a realization. When it happens, then we can say, yes, fine, now even someone is trying to kill you, you might not act as a person. You might not react as a person. So that's why certain suttas are there. For example, say Adimutta Theragata, you can refer. Adimutta Theragata, very beautiful. He's a Samanera, but an Arahant, a young, and he being captured by the bandits. Now they are taking him to kill. He's not afraid. He's not panicked. He's not shocked. And he simply say, Tinakatta saman lokam. So this whole world like grass and sticks and that wood, what's that? Firewood, not really firewood, even like little sticks. No, it's kind of useless. There is no essence, there is no life there, there is no people there. This Tinakatta saman lokam. Yada panyaya passati. So I see things as mere grassroots. Nothing is there. So you do whatever you want. So he simply say to the assassin, okay, you do whatever you want. Can we say like that? Even though we know it's non-self. So we have theoretical understanding. We haven't internalized it to the maximum. So the Arahant is the one internalized it to the maximum. So that's why very difficult to convince sometimes people. They sometimes overestimate themselves thinking, okay, I know that. But when you go through some difficult situation only you can see whether am I behaving like an Arahant? Am I really an Arahant? Or I know what Arahant know as a superficial statement, but I am not yet. That's why certain situations, like in the commentaries, there are stories when certain monks have a type of a conceit called adimana, thinking that I am an Arahant. They assume. Now another monk is asking, Bhante, are you an Arahant? Yes. When did you achieve that? Long time ago. Long time ago I have become an Arahant. So then what sometimes they do is they create an elephant, imaginary elephant, with a kind of a tusker, and is coming with all trumpeting, is coming towards them. So this so-called Arahants get up and try to run away. How can it happen? Then the other monk he simply catch from the robe and asking, Bhante, are you an Arahant? So that's why, we might know what Arahants are talking and they are understanding, we might know, but not yet thoroughly internalized. That's why even though there is no self, that is true for the Arahants, but for us it's yet a superficial understanding. So more we act intentionally at that moment, our judgments, the ignorance, craving are all operating. So we accumulate karma. Because somehow we make a self, that self is the one acting, that produce karma, that we accumulate karma. Yeah.
Last one.
Good.
Most Venerable Bhante, we are taking this opportunity to pay our utmost respect and gratitude to you for your valuable guidance to us to walk in the Dhamma path. Our special appreciation and gratitude to you for the publication of your latest book, Signless and Emptiness, which guides and motivates all of us yogis to experience the different mind states. We really value and appreciate your time and energy spent on studying all the relevant suttas and advice and adding your meditation experiences, thereby allowing us to enhance our knowledge by publishing this book. May you be able to meet your unseen teachers and gain more knowledge, wisdom and experience in the very near future. May you be healthy and strong to walk in the Dhamma path until you achieve all your Dhamma desires. May all the merits accumulated by doing these noble deeds be helpful for you to achieve path and fusion of new Nibbana in this very life. Theruvan Saranai. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good, good. I wish the same. Actually, you all have contributed a lot. When this, because many people, many yogis are asking, Bhante, I have some this emptiness, now I am experiencing some emptiness, so what next? That's a valid question. So we have to have some good, valid answers for this. So here and there, the answers are scattered. So I want to gather some of them, and this Bhante Analayo's book, Signless and Deathless, was really a very good source, where he is taking many different suttas, referring them and trying to get some strong answers from them. And I read that, particularly the first part. From there also I have taken fair amount of sources. And by the way, we did that in a retreat environment, so have to mix with the meditation part. So that's how it came out. And then Chandima transcribed it, and Chandrika and all the other Kalalgoda yogis participated in proofreading. Amil prepared the cover. So many one's contribution. So it's not my own effort. So many people have contributed, and it has somehow come as a good product. So let's share it, let's enjoy it. Okay. So then we can wind up the session if there are no more questions. Anything? No? Nothing. So if you haven't received the book, please contact Miss Chandima or Miss Chandrika. all are here. It's a product of Kalalgoda. Yeah. So always please maintain a store here, because not only this book, even I think Satipatthana book, you all went through, isn't it? And then the next book, Grasping book. Grasping is a little book. That little book, that's also a Dhamma sermon. 2 Dhamma sermons we conducted here, Kalalgoda Dhamma sermon. Okay. Actually, this Grasping book, when I was remembering that, it came out as a request coming from, I think, Canada, where one couple's, young son passed away. So they were so shocked about it, and their grandparents were shocked about it, and they again and again requested to talk about the grasping, upadana. And recently I heard now about almost like 2 weeks ago something, there is one child, he is a student of Moroto University, he is from Ananda College, and he is so devoted to Dhamma, he also passed away. And yesterday those monk and that he is the father came to meet me, and he is really a good meditator, encouraging mother to meditate and teaching mother about the Dhamma. But this fellow also passed away. So our lives are very, very, extremely uncertain. We never know when the Mara come and invite us. So be heedless. Sorry, heedful. Be heedful because we don't know how long we have. Okay, today's dana was offered by Bertie Leelaratna and Ganga Leelaratna, merits to their passed away relatives. And so those are the sharing of merits, and we have spent fair amount of time today also practicing the Dhamma and then discussing Dhamma. And in the morning we listen to Dhamma sermon, and all these merits what we have accumulated we share with all the celestial beings, all our past relatives, and whoever in need of merits. And we wish these merits help us also to attain path, fruition, nibbana. We'll recite the traditional verses. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Akasattha ca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Sattha ca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.